Good afternoon, OCO, Stone Go, Yata Hey, Chukma, and all of the above and everything.
Covering the whole gamut there, huh?
That's right. Welcome to the Native News Today. Jason Salzman, Gerald Wofford, as always, we thank you for joining us here. And today is really a very special day for the Native News Today. And do we want a drum roll, or a northern or southern drum?
No.
Maybe, I don't know. But
Southern Ute.
Southern Ute, that's right, the two Utes there. But the reason why it is so special is
50th birthday. This is episode 50 right here today, and it seems a long time. Boy,
you know, we were
episode
talking
1.
with the elders this morning about that, and they said, y'all don't look a day past episode, 22 or something.
Well, you look back at episode 1, and you're like, what was going on with my hair back then? You know, what was the deal with those bell bottoms?
Yeah, we both had kind of had that 70s, 80s thing going on there, and you know, forgive us for the stonewashed jeans we were wearing that day, but you know. No, we haven't been on that long.
No,
but
come on.
50 does mark a very special time for us, an episode here. We didn't know 50. I mean, you know, we were looking back, episode 17, 22, you know, we were thinking, God, you know, how long are we going to go with this?
I know, and when we started, we really did start on a lot of faith, you know what I mean? I don't mean to sound all, you know, whatever, but we did, you know, we stepped out there, and it was a project that we didn't know if people would buy into, but obviously, you know, as the song goes, we must be doing something right, so.
Yeah, we were like that, you know, that Spider-Man movie when he jumps off that building. We're going, we're all smiling, but then, you know, we kind of fell, but we got back up.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
everything,
Yeah,
so.
sure.
But hey, the 50th show, Native News Today, again, thank you for joining us. And as we've done in all our other episodes, we feel like we got a good program lined up for you today.
Yeah, and we always feel like we got a good program lined up, and this one's no different. I always say that, don't I? That's like my
what he means,
that's like
though,
my little motto, isn't
the
it?
standard.
Yeah, the standard
is always high.
Yeah, it's kind of like take care, God bless, and we'll see you soon.
Hey.
Oh, I was supposed to save that for the end, wasn't I?
Oh, well, yeah.
Okay,
It's a special
sorry.
show.
I didn't mean to throw it out there so early. No, but we got a lot of great things today. We'll be talking about Hanna Indian community getting a new tractor for the farm out there. So they're going to be doing a lot of things, and a lot of people don't know about the Creek Nation Farm. That's one of the things out there. You think about casinos and the complex and the council house, but a lot of people don't know we got a farm. It's pretty cool.
That's right. There's always those good stories out there that we like to see. The Indian communities being helped, being served, and the Hanna Indian community got a new tractor. We'll share with you that news story here in just a little bit. That's one of the stories we got. We also continue our documentary with the bow making.
Yeah,
Mike Berryhill.
Yeah, very informational and really cool, actually. You know, we got a call, an email from a guy that's like, hey, I watch this all the time, and now I'm making my own bows. So, I mean, in a way, it's really cool to be able to be a part of something like that and know that, you know, maybe we could get somebody interested or whatever. And the thing is that it's not really so much about, hey, go out there and, you know, make your bows, but the thing is to get interested in something that's very important to us culturally. That's what this bow making DVD has been doing.
Well, we kind of feel like Sesame Street in that sense that, you know, like you said, someone called and is learning how to make a do all the bow making techniques with that through the show here. So we're really happy about that.
Yeah, today's show is sponsored by the letters Q, T, and V, and by the numbers 1, 2, and 6.
We also go back into our video archive library and pull out some archive footage from the Esta Muskogee. We hope you enjoyed that last week.
Yeah.
Continue with that series.
Yeah,
So,
the old G. Woff look-alike hosting the show there. So all that and more right here today. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a break and be right back. Get it kicked off with this episode of Native News Today.
Here at the College of the Muskogee Nation, we pride ourselves on emphasizing Native culture, values, language, and self-determination while providing a positive learning environment for tribal and non-tribal students. We encourage our students to be lifelong learners and to strive for personal growth, professional advancement, and intellectual advancement. Muskogee Nation College, academic achievement, Native values.
You know, it's always great to bring stories to you here on the Native News today about communities being helped, being served, and that recently happened with the tiny community of Hanna.
Yeah, that's what it's all about with the tribes. A lot of people see the tribes and all the things they're doing economically, but not socially, you know, and they do a lot of things with the communities and everything like that. And this was another thing they did for Hanna Indian community with a new tractor. And those people out in Hanna are all excited and everything like that. And I just got to ask you, you were down there. Do you think Hanna Indian community's tractor is sexy?
Well, you know, it's green.
green.
We'll say we'll say that it's green out there, and you know, certainly green for their economy because it's going to help their. They raise a
Toknawa.
Yeah, a lot of Toknawa
That's
out
right.
there, so they're going to have their farm and be able to help their community. So let's check in on Hanna Indian community getting this new tractor.
My name is Donna Martin. I am the manager of community research and development, and Hanna Indian Community Center is one of our community centers that we oversee. And the thing that we're doing today is the dedication of their new tractor for their farm project. This is the only tractor they've ever had, and they're so proud of it, and I'm just so glad that the tribe helped us get this tractor, because last year it just was pitiful to see our people out there doing a lot of the planting by hand.
Well, it'll benefit the community in that, you know, we're trying to be self-sufficient. We want to be self-sufficient. And I think in time, we will be with this tractor.
We're planning on doing big-time farming here with at least maybe 414 acres. We've got enough potatoes in the ground for 100,000 pounds. We've got cabbage, we've got corn, we're going to have tomatoes, and we're going to have the purple hull peas for our people that we've already started getting a lot of orders for this stuff. And we're starting to get buyers from outside of the state and outside of this area who are wanting to buy all of our crops. But we would like to make sure that our people get the crops first. But other than that, then we'll have watermelons and cantaloupes coming on, and that is the best.
All right, our thanks to Donna Martin, Chief A.D. Ellis, and the members of the National Council there on helping out the Hanna Indian community.
Absolutely, do a wonderful job down there in Hanna too.
Well, we got the art of bow making going on, and Jason, in times past, you were a bit of an artist at bow making, right? Because you took your elementary pictures with the bow on?
The art of wearing the bow tie,
Oh,
basically.
bow tie, okay.
No, just a little bit of tidbit of information for all of you out there. My mother, when me and my brother were young, that was her favorite pastime, hobby, was dressing us up like little girls, even though we were little boys. And I don't know, I can't tell you how many school pictures I had to take.
A lot of guys wear bow ties.
Bow
It's
tie,
this
I
macho,
know,
you
but yeah. But you know what? That being said, she's the best mom in the world, and Mother's Day is tomorrow. So got to send out a happy Mother's Day to my beautiful mother. And Gerald,
right.
I know you think the same
And,
thing.
my mom too. Happy Mother's Day. Bow making documentary right here.
But here's an example of checking of green wood. If you don't get this all off down to here, where there's no checking at all, where all the white areas are is some bit of sapwood left. And sapwood is the white wood of the tree. And if you don't get all that off, it's going to check just like this, all the way up to where we took some of the sapwood off. If you can notice all the checking that's going on here on this stave, all up and down where that sapwood is, all in here, all in here. Notice this, no checking at all, no checking at all in here down to the heartwood. So your sapwood is going to literally, if it's allowed to stay on that stave very long, will split your heartwood. Will literally pull it apart also with the sapwood. But here, this is a stave that is probably 6 years old, and look at this. Look how deep that's went. See, your bark is rotted, and the sapwood has literally opened up through curing all the way, and probably all the way to here. And I don't see any checking at the end, but it's opened up a good ways. So that's what happens to stave if you leave it too long, to where the wood will actually be runt. So you don't want to overcut. You want to be able to get to your wood and take care of it. Taking care of it, that's a necessity. The tools that we're going to be using today will be hatchet, draw knife, of course, good old draw knife, and rasping tools. Okay, as we get further and further along into this, things become a little bit more critical, and you have to really pay attention to what you're doing. And we're going to eliminate over here. We laid out the last time we were here, and we've already got it laid out. Got the sapwood, bark sapwood off down to the first growth ring, but there's some discrepancies in that, and you do not know what lies in that grain of that or that growth ring from end to end until you get this all off. Sometimes you can turn it over this side of it and see that's what the grain is going to look like right here. See, it's got a little snakiness in here. And those can create some problems in the bending area of it. And if they're in the bending area, what I call in the limb where it bends, where it takes all the pressure and all the muscle is, that can be a problem. So right in here, see where if you can pick this up, see how this grain snakes from this point, a little bit of waviness here and here, then it runs all the way over up here to this side. That's not good. But we're going to go ahead and finish this out and see what we come up with. But this is what you want to look for, and you get a tendency to not focus on that when you're laying it out. But the time to look at all of this is whenever you get the back, down to the back of that one growth ring. So these three bows here are what I call roughed out bows that look just like this at one time. And I have got them down to a point called almost a final tillering. I've done a tillering on it to this point and put the nocks in, obviously taking them down just outside the lines of what I've been talking about all along, with a rasp and of course a hatchet and a draw knife. So this bow here is almost, I would say, probably 90% finished. And what I've done on the belly, this is the back, of course, and this is the belly part. The belly part is where you do all your tillering, and this is where you're going to get your evenness of limbs when they're bent after you put a string on it. Here I want to show you what we're going to be doing, hopefully, with this piece of wood. I don't know how far along we'll get with it, but as you take the wood off of after you finish getting the sides, and then you start on the belly, thinning it down, and you notice the thickness of it tapers some, if you can pick that up. You don't want it all in one thickness because it'll never bend.
All right, we hope you enjoyed the documentary there on bow making. And Jason's mom, if you're watching, send in that picture of Jason in the bow tie. Love to see that.
Man, I can't see it. I guess the word is I don't want to see it ever again.
Oh, well, we'll see about that. Hey, tribal news calendar coming up here, all the stuff happening out there.
This one right here, the background on this calendar really takes the cake, if you know what I mean. Hey, la.
It's here. It's hot. And it's only at Creek Nation Casino in Muskogee.
the ultimate treasure hunt, and it's going on now through April 1st. A Suzuki Boulevard motorcycle, Chevy Silverado truck, and $20,000 in cash prizes are up for grabs, and 20 lucky winners will find their own pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. That's all happening right off Highway 69 in Muskogee.
Creek Nation Casino, where OK comes to play.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that photo of the cake, the exclusive Native News Today 50th cake episode.
Yeah, I know. We were going to have the logo behind us here stenciled onto the cake, but hey, what can you do?
That's just
You're dealing with limited time and resources. I mean, we got stuff to do. We can't be worried about our own cake.
That's right. We continue on to bring you the very best news here on the Native News Today.
That's right.
And one thing that we always like to do is to look at our archives there in the library and see what we had in the vault, so to speak.
Absolutely. A lot of great things from the past. It's Native News Today, but there's no reason we can't look at yesterday sometimes.
That's right.
Man, that was
Hey,
philosophical. God.
we're getting a little John Paul and George Ringo here.
You know.
But, hey, we've got the documentary Este Muskogee. Again, it's from our video library vault. So a little tour back through in the 70s, a little history about the Creek Nation. So we hope you enjoy this.
Piece by piece, through warfare and treaty, our lands were slowly lost to them. Finally, defeat came at the hands of the cunning and deceitful Andrew Jackson in the Red Stick War of 1813 and 1814. Then the Indian Removal Act of 1830 forced the Creek people to give up their homelands in exchange for a new home west of the Mississippi River. Over 4,000 of my people died during the well-known forced migration that followed, the Trail of Tears. They marched through the bitter cold with little food or water to their new life in Indian Territory. Once in Indian Territory, the industrious and determined Muskogee began the difficult task of rebuilding a nation in the unfamiliar land. The ancient tribal towns were reestablished. The sacred fires kept burning throughout the long journey were ceremoniously placed in the new town squares. Crops were planted, homes were built, ceremonial dances and the green corn celebration live on. After the Civil War, a permanent capital site for the new Creek Nation was selected near the Deep Fork River and named Okmulgee in honor of the old capital of the Creek Confederacy. A council house was built to serve as a meeting place for the principal chief and the Creek Nation's elected councilmen. A written constitution and a code of laws governed the nation during this period from 1867 to 1907. A national seal was adopted that reflected the Creek people's link to agriculture and land. The old traditions continued, but new institutions like missions, schools, and churches began to dot the landscape. But at the close of the 19th century, a rising tide of outsiders and intruders overwhelmed the Muskogee people until they became once again a minority within their own lands. Economic, political, and social pressures from within and without Indian Territory brought the era of tribal governments to a close. Individual land allotments broke up the communally held tribal lands as the Creek Nation was dissolved. But the Muskogee never forgot who they were. In their homes, churches, and ceremonial grounds, they preserved the Creek ways and taught these ways to their children. But during the years following Oklahoma statehood, the problems of Indian people were mostly ignored. However, through the tireless efforts of a few Indian leaders, lawyers, and sympathetic legislators, conditions were gradually reversed, laws were changed, and old treaties reviewed. Then, in 1970, the Creeks and the rest of the 5 civilized tribes were allowed to hold elections for principal chiefs. For the first time in over 60 years, the Muskogee people had a voice in choosing their leaders. Claude Cox was elected chief. He and a council of advisors began the difficult task of reestablishing the sovereignty of the Muskogee Creek Nation. After studying the problems faced by Indian people, Chief Cox focused on improving the housing, education, employment, and health care for Creek people. In addition, he had the dream of someday making his people self-sufficient, able to pay their own way and make their own governmental decisions. Chief Cox and his advisors also knew that the tribal government needed a new set of rules to operate by, a new constitution for the nation. During a remarkable decade of development, tribal officials began resolving these challenges facing the Muskogee people. Today, the Muskogee Creek Nation has a revitalized tribal government. A new constitution ratified in 1979 guides tribal affairs. And the modern Creek Nation Tribal Complex houses the many offices and programs that benefit Indian people. The Creek Nation Housing Authority, the Solomon McCombs Office Building, the Dental Clinic, the IAP Building, the Indian Health Service, the General Administration Building, and the Independent Agencies Building, also known as the Mound. The Mound is modeled after an earthen lodge built by our people centuries ago in Georgia. That ancient mound was used during the days of the Muskogee Confederacy as a meeting place for the National Council. This modern mound is used for the same purpose today, but also houses many support services and community services that aid Creek people. Across the street to the northeast of the complex lies the Creek Nation Elderly Housing Project, providing quality apartment living for Creek elders. In addition, improved housing for all needy Indian people is available through Creek Nation. Hundreds of low and moderate income Indian families now own their own homes thanks to the Creek Nation Housing Authority. And hundreds of other families are experiencing a higher standard of living because of Creek Nation's housing rehabilitation program. In healthcare, the tribe set a shining example which others have now followed. Creek Nation's healthcare delivery system was even featured in a nationally broadcast segment of the PBS program, Nova.
And in the field of health, the Creeks have been the first tribe in the nation to contract with the federal government to run their own health facilities, a hospital and 4 clinics. Sophisticated diagnostic tests such as ultrasound are readily available to patients at the hospital. And if a treatment can't be provided here, the patients are driven to Tulsa, an hour away. The Creeks healthcare program has become a model for other tribes in the nation to follow.
There was some concern by the Indian Health Service that we could not provide the level of care that they had provided. However, we've shown that to be otherwise. The patient load has dramatically increased, and we've been able to expand services. There's a strong community spirit among the people that use the health facilities, and that creates a very strong bond between the people that deliver the health care and the people that receive it.
Creek Nation's community health centers are located in Sapulpa, Eufaula, and Okemah. Dental clinics are located in Eufaula, Sapulpa, and Okmulgee.
All right there, we hope that you enjoyed the SD Muskogee look back, and keep in mind in the future shows we'll also be showing other segments from our video library as well, other topics that covered way back in the day.
Dude, we got all kinds of stuff. We got like the 1950s green corn ceremonies and everything like that. So it's
the 1967 Ice Bowl.
Yeah, the
between the
1985
New
Orange
York
Bowl
Packers and the Eufaula Cowboys.
Between IXL and Iron Post.
A memorable game there, yeah. We may have to start a new show too, Native News Today Classics.
Yeah,
with, sports.
Native News Today Classics. Yeah, you can show some of the old stickball games. Man, those get nuts sometimes out there.
They do call it the little brother of war, and I guess there's a good reason.
Yeah, yeah, especially with the ladies.
Oh, man.
Brutal.
Brutal. Can you imagine if that's a little brother of war, a little sister of war?
I couldn't imagine what war. William Tecumseh Sherman probably said it best, war is hell.
Yeah, and it's probably some of those little sisters he faced too, I'm sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
Hey, speaking of classics and shows, again, we say this is our 50th show, Native News Today, going strong. Plan on making it 100, as Barry Switzer likes to say. We're going to hang 100 and we're going to keep on cruising. But I have to ask my co-host here, of all the shows here, some of the memorable interviews that you remember from the first 50.
Oh man, there's been so many.
Name a couple.
We were talking about this the other day, but first of all, not necessarily top on the list, but the first thing that comes to my mind was really something neat to be at was the when me and you were in the Capitol for the Senate Bill 1706 signing with Governor Henry. That was, you know, we were still relatively new and young and just kind of getting our feet wet to win this show. And for Governor Henry to give us his time and give us an interview, I thought it was so cool. And plus, we were there to commemorate the signing of 1706, which that was to give control of the state housing agency back to the Muskogee Creek Nation with their housing authority. So a huge, huge day, as Chief A.D. Ellis said that day, for the Creek Nation and for our show. Really, it was a big day for our show to be there and get that kind of exposure at such an early stage. And also, come on,
priorities,
summertime, and the living's easy. Last year at the festival, Lou Graham, a Foreigner. Man, it was wonderful.
Now, for you people out there that know your music, I know you know who Foreigner is here. We're not talking about immigrants or anything.
I think that was him that just walked by. I think that was Lou Graham.
That's right.
No, but seriously, dude, it was festival time, so I'm ready to rock out and everything. Foreigner's about to come on. I'm sitting back there with Lou backstage, and Lou's a guy that kind of has to get ready, so the rest of the band's out on the stage in all darkness, and they're just playing this little warm-up gig. And Lou's back there getting all warmed up, talking to the chief and everything. He comes out. They just bust into the da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, you can't get much better than Lou Graham. Now,
Double Vision is what I'm speaking of.
Everybody out there that has good musical taste loves the good classic rock. You know, had it been some other band or some kind of modern, band called, I don't know, Boys Who Cry or something like that, we probably wouldn't have gotten that interview.
No, man. We weren't going to waste our time.
Yeah.
Lou Graham, though, I mean, yeah, and then afterward, he came off stage right when they finished their set, and the first person he wanted to talk to was Native News Today, man.
Yeah, and he said it, how did he say it?
He said, man, we rocked him hard. That was his assessment of it, and I agreed.
Kind of like in his Double Vision song, he said, feeling kind of Native News Today.
Yes, feeling kind of native, feeling kind of free.
Yeah,
sorry.
So it was cool. Yeah. Well, hey, again, trip down memory lane here, 50. We want to just keep on going with the Native News Today, and you're a big part of that. We really appreciate you all involved with the program as far as giving us news tips, telling us what's going on out there in Creek Country. But before we get into the information and all that, I think we want to give a quick plug to the football event going on with Ken Heupel again, too.
Absolutely,
right?
man. The Day of Champions Camp, and that's going on July 2nd through the 4th in Henrietta. And if you want more information on that, log on to www.forloveofthegame.org. That's for the number 4 loveofthegame.org. And you can get all the information on this camp, and you can get that entry fee or whatever, entry fee application, everything like that, right there online if you want to be a part of that. And that wraps it up for today.
That wraps up. For our producer, Josh Lane, Jared Moore, Jason Salzman, and Gerald Wofford. In the meantime, take care. God bless. We'll see you soon.